had, what was the number of plays, Jimmy? You know, we had about 120 something. It was a good scrimmage, and I was real pleased with the attitude, the competitiveness, the toughness and effort that the players were playing with. That was a good thing to see. And we had guys on both sides of the ball making good plays. I was disappointed in all the sort of game administration part of it that we really got to clean up. It was the first time with a real SEC crew. And so, a lot of kind of knick-knack penalties that we got to clean up, substitution issues that we got to clean up, and that's why you scrimmage. The offense did a really good job running the football today, and that was good to see. Made a lot of big plays running the football. I felt like the defense did a pretty good job preventing the big plays on the pass game. Even though we threw the ball pretty decently, we didn't generate the yards per attempt that we're trying to get. So some good and bad there. And then we had a good situation at the end where we did a good job in 2 minutes and kicked a field goal to win the game. Pilardi hit about how far was that? 48 yarder with no time on the clock. So he kicked it really well today. Had 4 good field goals. So overall, a lot to learn, made a ton of mistakes, but the most important part was how we competed, and that was good to see.
Talk about the running game a little bit more. That was a point of emphasis, and it sounds like everybody's leaving with a real good feeling about the way that went.
Well, we are, and some of the stats, are a little. We got to kind of go see what the one defense, because we kind of went half ones against twos and then half ones against one. So we did a little different, just to change it up. And so, but we ran it a lot better. And I'm not sure exactly what the numbers were against our ones. So we'll see.
Derek, you sort of challenged them, I guess, yesterday. Said when it's time to ball, you got to go be a baller. And
yeah.
You're pleased with how they competed today. Is that maybe a sign of some maturity on the team?
I hope so. It was one of our better scrimmages from that standpoint. And what I could tell was when we got on the buses, there wasn't a word being said, and that was good. I mean, they were locked in and they were treating it like a game. And I think that is a sign of maturity, and it's a sign of how important it is to them.
So when you say one of the better ones, you mean since you've been here?
Yeah, since I've been here. I'm just saying from a competitive standpoint. Now, execution, we got a ton of work. So don't confuse that with, man, we're good. All right, it's just a good sign when you see the team. It's important to them. They're competing, and we got to really do a good job as coaches to clean up the execution. And that's going to be a real challenge for us.
How important is this first scrimmage to kind of set the table, so to speak, for the rest of the fall camp? It's kind of a barometer of what you're doing.
Well, I think it's always a barometer of where you are, and where we are is we feel like we got a lot of different guys who can make some plays, more guys than we've had. But we also have a lot of newness on both sides of the ball in what we're doing. That's creating a lot of breakdowns in execution. And a lot of administration problems, and so that's what we got to correct.
Look, some of the linemen talked about the running backs ran a little tougher. They broke some tackles, and even they had a lot more 5- and 6-yard runs.
That's right.
How happy to see that finally out of this group?
Well, I'm happy, but I'm not. I'm hoping we keep building on that. But it wasn't surprising. I've said we have 3 guys who can help us win running the ball, and we got to do a good job around them, blocking and throwing the football, because we're not going to line up 2 tight ends off formation and pound people. So we're not those kind of guys.
Some of the guys have mentioned they've enjoyed this camp experience, pleasantly surprised. For lack of a better word, there's a little more clarity maybe in the football and the mission. Have you noticed that this early into it?
I don't know. I know I love it. I mean, coaches love it. I have had 0 administrative issues to deal with, right? It's pretty nice. It's just ball all day. I'm thinking about seeing if we can do this for about 6 months.
What's it been like in the dorms?
I don't think Milligan will let us stay up here for 6 months.
Could you ever imagine doing a whole camp like this? Have you ever thought about that?
I haven't thought about it. I want to get through this week to really. I don't want to say everything's great yet. I mean, it's the first quarter of camp, and it's doing pretty good. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if I told you guys, this support staff we got, holy smokes. I complain about it sometimes because we got so many dang people, I don't know what they do. But man, when you got to move your entire operation in 4 hours, you're glad they're there.
Derek, you talked on Thursday about the defense with some mental errors.
Yeah.
Were they playing fast today?
They played fast, but they made a ton of mistakes. And hey, we're throwing a lot at them. So now we got to shape it down for them. Hey, we know as coaches, we can't just give them the whole book and say go do it and blame them if they don't do it. We can't do that, and Sal knows that, and I know that. But we also got to push them, and we're going to keep pushing them to learn it. And then as we get closer to game week, we got to figure out, we're going to have to go in limited a little bit so we play fast. We don't make that mistake.
Talk about dealing with change of environment. Is it going to present another challenge next week when you guys finally get on the field at Milligan? And use those
you're
fields
talking
over
about
there?
those fields? Yeah, we're going to keep changing it up. And the real change is when we're going to hit Neyland Stadium in another week and a half. So it's pretty good.
Health-wise, everything all right?
Yeah, I didn't, that was always the biggest thing you worry about. We didn't have anything major that I know of.
Darrington Cinnamore, a lot of people said was pretty active today. I mean, I know you didn't want to look at the film, but what did you see out of him?
Well, he's been active all camp. He really has. I think up front, he and Mo have had a really good camp, and I think we've commented about that. And I'll tell you, Dan McCullers is really, I want to go see what he does on the film, but he's really making progress. I think he can help us inside.
Derek, on some of those other defensive positions, Walls, Teague at corner, Brewer in the second. How are these guys? Those seem to be very competitive for starting positions at those.
Yeah,
those
and I think it's helped us. And what else it's done is it's allowed us to create some roles for guys. Maybe they're not going to be 60 snaps a game or 50 snaps, but they can lock in on a specific role, like a Stephen Folks and a Marlon Walls. Even when we go nickel, whoever the sub guys are. But it's created a lot of competition, which of course brings out the best in everybody, and I think we're getting better because of it.
You mentioned Brewer in the spring about how he was playing with, I think, a reckless abandon. You said and didn't seem bothered by injuries. Has he continued that this preseason?
Yeah, and Brent's biggest challenge is staying in control, because when you're closing in on a runner, you got to bend your knees and get under control. You can't just be out of control. So, we've actually had to kind of slow him down a little bit so he can be more productive.
But you mentioned the 2-minute drills. What about Tyler specifically handling that?
Both quarterbacks, Tyler and Justin. Justin's had a great camp too, guys. He really has. And both of them commanded the situations the way we wanted to. They were poised, they were calm, understood the time, understood the timeouts. So that was good. Good to see. All right?
Every time
Perform.
Specifically, it seemed like just the numbers anyway, seemed that he'll have a pretty good
Yeah, Ray John, he ran great. He did. He and Devlin have an ability when they get in space. They're fast. I mean, they're both fast guys. And so our job as an offense is creating that space for them. That's when they play well, space.
Have you spoken with Mike Cavan? I guess that's a